Sorry if that caught.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Machine Sentai Kiramager, starting with Rise Sneeze. I'm Bashi V, and joining me today is.
A sneezy Rye, apparently.
That was the perfect timing, too, because it was immediately as YouTube told me it was running.
Oh, great. Perfect. So we've got we got our episode about Juru and being the leader. We got an episode about Sina and her commitments to the team versus her other activities. Shigeru and his determination to not show weakness. Tametono and his desire to be the leader of the team. So that just leaves Sayo, Pink, who is, of course, a surgeon. A very skilled one at that. And we even open up during a surgery that others declare is hopeless, but she manages to pull through and save the patient.
So we know she's at least on par with Hiro.
Well, you say that, but Hiro performed surgery on Juo Tiger, so
This is true.
literally a tiger person that Poppy was just like, wait, hold on, like, we don't understand your physiology, and was just like, shut up, I'm doing the surgery.
Yeah, I forgot he was just arrogant, too. Why did I forget that happened? That was a decently fun movie, too.
Oh, was it? I mean, wasn't that the like mix and match Sentai team movie?
Yeah, like it was a decent movie. Is like it. The comedy is what hit it. That and Naga's whole emotional thing at the towards the end of it.
I was gonna say, it's like Naga's the only good thing I remember about that movie.
Naga and the let's pick the teams.
Yeah, some of the combinations were fun to look at. Like, I'm pretty sure the restaurant owner from Gaim, like his fruit was like Mr. Dangerous.
Something like that. I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
He had the durian arms. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was put onto what was otherwise an all-female team.
I mean, yeah. That would have been the only way to do that because the only female that was the only actual female on that show died.
So everyone is gawking over how amazing Pink is. When Blue begins to comment on like, oh yeah, I heard that, and then Sayo fucking flips him over her shoulder to shut him up.
Because he said the word hopeless.
Because he almost revealed her secret technique. And then before anyone can question any further, they get called away because the villains are being active.
Plot convenience.
The plan is to send a tiny baby version of the giant monster through a smaller hole and then have it grow big while it's already on Earth. And so the monster of the week will essentially be feeding it. The monster of the week is a camera that, if it takes your picture, teleports you into the giant monster's stomach.
Amazingly enough, this was actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Like, this is a point where we're getting to the points in Sentai where the bad guys need to start having decent plans. Otherwise, it's going to be the same. You guys are morons. We're just going to wreck your shit.
This show in particular, the villains need creative plans. They don't necessarily have to be a good idea, so long as they're fucking entertaining to watch them try and execute.
Right. It's like, but to the point of being able to take them seriously as villains, they kind of got to start having some good ones too.
Right.
And this was a good one. The monster of the week was kind of stupid. And I don't mean that as in that was a terrible execution. No, I mean he was literally a dum dum, as evidenced at the end of the fight.
So, after he takes a picture of Blue and Green, who fucking pose for the photo despite knowing they shouldn't get their picture taken.
Apparently, sent a real, and that's the funny thing too. Is like now thinking about it is like, if anybody should have posed, nobody should have posed for that except Yellow. Yellow's the only one that makes sense. He's the internet star.
Fucking Senna, though, says, don't get your picture taken. And then poses in front of the camera when it's aimed at her.
It's like, and you can't do the whole, oh, well, she didn't have time to get away. She had time to decide on a pose. She had time to react a different way.
So, Pink is about ready to fuck the monster's shit when a train from the Shadow Line is approaching.
And, you know, like a bad train, gives no warning.
Except that doesn't actually happen because fucking Garuza doesn't actually give the warning that, like, hey, a train is fucking coming, wait behind the black line.
No, he just tries to run her over. There's more attempted murder in this than I expected.
More than 0.
Yeah, and that's too much. I don't mind it, but for a kid show, you'd think they'd not do the attempted murder part. But then again, I gotta remember Den-O was a thing.
There's a valuable lesson here. Don't fucking stand in front of oncoming trains. Otherwise, the train conductor might harmlessly push you over onto a rock where you bump your head and then forget everything up until you were 5.
Well, after you were 5.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Also, it has been a long time since Toei hasn't bothered to look up how amnesia works.
You'd think they'd remember. There's an entire, almost 50 episode series literally based around how amnesia works.
Like, Agito did a good job of it.
I mean, that was literally the basis for Agito.
Right. Like, he lost all his memories, but he didn't lose any of his skill. Like, he still knew how to tend to his vegetable garden. He still knew how to cook. He still knew how to do all the fucking house chores.
And he still knew how to do all the writer stuff. Even though that was kind of, thrust upon him right before he lost his memory. But he still had all the knowledge and muscle memory of the things that he knew how to do.
When it came to when he regained his memories the first time, though, he, like, did a spectacle of, like, dressing up the dinner table more like a fancy restaurant kind of thing. It's like, yeah, okay, that is not something that just comes from experience or training or skill. No, that was actually something that you would forget about doing. Like, oh yeah, no, here's something that I can do to make it look pretty.
Right. It's like Agito handled amnesia very, very well.
There was Rook from Kiva who gets amnesia at one point, and he's like trying to save these, like, I don't remember, crawfish or something from the river because he doesn't want them to drown, even though they live in the water. And like I want to say, I can't remember if that was a good or bad example. I can't remember if that. I don't think that's something you would actually forget. I want to say that was a bad example,
Unless you lost your knowledge of what crawfish were.
or whatever he was trying to save. But yeah, the entire premise of this episode is that Sayo bumps her head and then regresses to a 5-year-old child, where she was a big super crybaby. That's the episode.
Yeah. I mean, it was cute and adorable, but yeah, that's the entire episode. And the last, what, couple of minutes of it of you're not a crybaby, go kick ass. Oh wait, you're still 5. Damn.
So Juru takes Sayo to her old dojo sensei to ask him about what life experiences helped form Sayo into the woman they know her as. And it turns out that when she was 5 or 6 or whatever, sometime before, after where her current mental state is, the dojo's dog got caught in a construction site, and worried that he would get hurt, Sayo ran in to rescue him. And that's where her hopeless trigger word comes from, as she decided, no, it's not hopeless if I want to do something about it.
Also, on a side note, for all you kids watching, that's a good way to die.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't.
If you're going to run into a construction site, at least make sure one person on there can see you. Don't just run into a pipe that's literally has stuff being dumped on it.
But, like, one of the adults that are present is like, let's just tell the workers the situation. And then they immediately give up on that plan without even trying. Like, they don't even try to get the workers' attention. They just see that the pipe that the dog is in is starting to get buried and immediately give up and declare it hopeless.
Which I could forgive, except literally their only attempt was to squeeze the fence a little bit harder and give up.
If only they tried more than not at all. But then Saya wouldn't have had that big moment of character growth that redefined her entire life. Is that how that works?
I don't know. My knowledge of, my life and other people's lives in my, in my realm of experience. No, that's not how that works. It might make you not be a crybaby anymore, but it doesn't go, you know what? To hell with kendo. I want to be a doctor. I could understand it if she wanted to, if she decided to be a vet. She literally helped an animal. I could buy that. No, this is not how this works.
Yeah, how does rescuing a dog translate into I want to save people and become a doctor? Okay. Okay.
The Toei logic.
So I did a little bit of digging. It didn't take too long, just a couple of minutes. The lead writer for this show is Naruhisa Arakawa. He's written episodes for Sentai in the past, going back as far as Jetman, actually. So he's got a lot of experience. In fact, He was the main writer for Aba Ranger, Deca Ranger, Gokaiger, and Akiba Ranger.
The fact he wrote Akiba Ranger explains a lot of this.
He didn't write this episode. But that does put into context this season that we are watching.
Yeah, I think he's mad he didn't get a third season of Akiba Ranger.
He's probably still mad he didn't get that sequel to Deca Ranger.
That too.
I'm so mad about that. Yeah, no, this particular episode was written by Ayumi Shimo. Ayumi Shimo wrote Hero Mama League, or one episode of it, but also 3 episodes of Ryu Soldier. One of those episodes was the Treasure Chest Wonderland.
I don't necessarily remember that episode.
It's the one where Melto has a hissy fit that no one listens to him, and then at the
Oh,
end, Ko
okay.
makes a vow that they'll listen to him more, and then they don't.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, because that one whole started because nobody wanted to listen to him.
And also, Asuna just starts eating her fill of meat.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another episode he wrote was the one where Wiseru tries capturing Masa Rex and hypnotizing him into obeying him. And then Bamba and Kanalo fucking just team up and become super badasses.
Okay, so far 2 good episodes.
And the episode where Toa and Bamba try telling everyone that Nada is Gaisorg, and everyone but Ko believes them.
Again, another good episode. What happened?
I don't know.
This at this point it literally feels like the main writer went, "Hey, we're making fun of Sentai. Just do something dumb." And the writer went at it with gusto. Because those 3 episodes alone were very good episodes. Like, I mean, literally the first one you mentioned is the most character growth Melto gets that entire series, even if it does get dropped immediately the next episode.
Moto is underused. Like, yeah, he gets his moments where he's usually the one that, like, oh, this is how we defeat the monster, and then they beat him 10 seconds later, but if that's literally all your character is.
It gets old really, really fast.
They don't even readdress the plot point about, like, Melto treating the Kishiryu more like tools rather than actual creatures.
Yeah, no, that really doesn't. I mean, I know he has a moment or two where, like, he doesn't actually do that. But, yeah, it's just kind of just glossed over. And then Kiramager doesn't give a shit anyways. And continues to rag on Melto. It's bad when you're a primary member of a Sentai team and you're literally like a secondary character. Hell, Creon had more of an impact on that show as a secondary / main character than Melto did. That's not a good sign.
But anyways, back to Kiramager. Um, so they can't find their missing team. So Mabushina reveals that she can locate any Kirame stone on the planet. So Yellow takes a bit of the white stone that was her ship and intentionally gets himself photobombed by the camera, posing like an Instagram star.
Well, because there's nothing the paparazzi love more than a person willing to be photographed.
Then Mabushina is able to lock onto the stone, and she's like, "Hey, Juru, the monster is in the fucking sky." And it's already fully grown, and they just didn't notice.
Well, I mean, when it's doing nothing.
True. So they need a flying machine to get to it. But, Blue is in here to pilot his, and Pink is a 5-year-old child. Mentally.
But, that's not going to stop Juror.
He's gonna friendship real hard and then take a shot for uh, Sayo. And then she's gonna realize, like, oh no, I can't let this situation be hopeless, and transform and pilot her machine as a child would. Pretty buttons!
The only pass that this entire section gets is the fact that the vehicle is sentient. Because, yeah, the 5-year-old should not have been able to pilot that. So, yeah, congratulations we found a reason for the sentient mechs. This was the reason for it. And then, pretty buttons just causes things to happen.
Allegedly, Sayo is tickling her mech. Let's just say that's what it was, and we'll go with that.
Yeah, I don't want to think of any further implications on that.
So, 5-year-old Sayo is able to solo the monster enough to free the rest of the team. The monster then falls onto the camera, who doesn't even try to run away until he has no time.
He literally failed out of the Prometheus school of running away from things. I don't think anybody's ever failed out of that class.
And then Yellow proposes, like, hey, let's split up into our separate mechs. So you've got Kirame Sky Mage and Kirame Land Mage. And at first I thought, oh yeah, separate into our separate mechs because we gotta sell toys, right? But then, Sayo is still a 5-year-old girl, and is fucking like spinning the mech around so much that Blue can't keep up with it. And I realized, like, I think Yellow was just planning ahead and avoiding this.
You know what? You can babysit the 5-year-old. Go have fun.
Not it.
He made the best decision in that shared parenting situation.
And yeah, they defeat the monster, and then back at the base, Mabushina and Sayo are playing, and then Mabushina trips over a chair, headbutts Sayo super fucking hard, because remember that she's a rock, and that knocks all of Sayo's memories back into her, and she's an adult again. That's how amnesia works, right?
That's how, that's how amnesia works.
Just give them a second concussion to cancel out the first concussion.
So then they should have drowned Agito, right? Well, because I mean, if they would have just borderline drowned him again, it would have been he would have got his memories back based on this. Just repeat the same injury. That's how traumatic brain injuries works.
Sayo doesn't have any memories of her behavior when she was effectively 5, but she feels strangely emotional over the whole situation.
On a side note, Pixie says, "Yeah, that's how amnesia works. Typically in cartoons, anyway."
And then, the ending credits start rolling, and we get our. The unique thing about this series is they do a bit of a cutaway during the ending dance, where they have one more credit scene from the episode,
Yeah,
and
the one little gag. It's usually a gag, like Yellow yelling at Shovel for still trying to do the Yellow Squad team or Shovel Squad team.
for this one it was the director of whatever the company is kind of making fun of Sayo a bit, and then she grabs him by the arm and spanking time.
I don't know what was weirder, the fact that happened or the fact that Mabushina seemed really excited at saying it was spanking time.
I'm actually more shocked they didn't do that like at the beginning of the episode when she flipped Blue over her shoulder. And then we've got the next week episode preview, where the others have decided, hey Juru, you fucking suck, I guess, so we're gonna train you real hard. And also
Pretty
we've
sure
got go on.
Pretty sure Pink's gonna spank him too.
And then we've got two monsters, a fire monster and an ice monster.
So congratulations, they're heading to the island of misfit toys. It's gonna. This show is so weird.
That episode.
This episode, this series is so good, but it's so bad.
This was not a great episode.
I mean, ignoring the whole "this is how amnesia works" apparently in this.
This was still
a decent. This was a decent episode. Just but for what the series has done so far, it is below par.
Yeah.
This more seems like pretty much what it was. Another writer coming in doing an episode because the main writer wanted to take a break or whatever the reasons they keep doing this for.
So here's the thing. Sayo didn't go through any actual character development. We were just giving context for character development for her character being the way she already is.
Right. Because I guess Pink is perfect.
Having her re-experience that childhood trauma through amnesia doesn't count as character development.
Especially when she forgets it. Because, now she has a new case of amnesia of everything that happened this entire episode.
If she had to relive her old, trauma, her old fear with her current adult self, and had to overcome a challenge again that traumatized her as a kid, that would have been something. But the direction that they went with it was questionable.
I'd have been fine with it if it was one of those where, they do this whole thing and she remembers all that and then goes, yeah, while the results were good, that was a bad idea. It would be a good show to curtail her doing, risky things with small chances of payoff.
Or what if in her backstory she actually failed to do the thing, right? and that's what motivated her to be like, I don't want something bad like this ever happen again, and therefore like she pushes herself to always be better. And now she's put into a situation where she has to face a similar situation to the one she failed to do as a child, and can now overcome her own failure from the past.
Right. Like there are much better ways to do this. And that would have been perfect. That would have been amazing. I'd have loved the hell out of that. Except the whole dead dog thing.
Well, that's why I
But
said the thing, because like it didn't have to be a dead dog. It could have been anything else.
right. I my brain registered in terms of what actually happened this episode, and I'm like, oh, that would have sucked. But like, it's just there's so many ways that they could have done this better, and obviously this writer knows what he or she is doing because he wrote 3 fantastic episodes for Rita Soldier. Not sure what else they've written, but based on that, probably pretty decent stuff. It's not like Lupin Ranger's third writer making a crotch grabbing episode, but it's still very subpar because from the aside from everything that happened, which is now moot because she doesn't remember any of it, nothing has changed from the start of this series, this episode, to the end of it. It literally filler saga'd us.
I mean, it's not uncommon for a Sentai series to open up with its first few episodes, going through the main cast to kind of establish them a bit and give them each their own episode. With that being said, I feel like this was a missed opportunity for Pink, as it didn't do anything for her that a
We didn't already
flashback
know,
couldn't have established.
right? I mean, literally, is like all we needed to know for this episode is, yeah, she rescued her dog from a construction site because the adults stood by and just watched.
Like, she did something really brave as a child and that boosted her confidence. Good. If that's the character you want us to open up with for the series, that is fine. There's no reason to retread the entire ground of that backstory to get that point
But
across.
but then you look at the character episodes that we've had up till now, because we've gotten everything but Red. We're getting that next week. It literally every character got some bit of development. Like you said, like Blue starts to learn, self being able to lean on his team. Green, you
Green
know,
learns her commitment to her mission as opposed to her personal life. Yellow learns that he can be the tactical leader of the group without being the actual leader. Pink didn't learn anything.
anything, yeah,
She was right
nothing.
all along.
It's like, and that turns this what would normally be a very fun episode. Because let's face it, this episode was fun, if nothing else, into a subpar character episode. It's by far no means the worst character focused episode that we've had. Still looking at you, Garu.
No, but if
And
we
your
keep having
introduction.
Garu make the same mistake 4 times in one episode, it's funny, right?
Only because it's Garu. And his, very platonic love for Lucky.
Okay, but if we put Garu in a dress and makeup, it's funny, right?
Only if you somehow input Balance and Naga into it. Oh wait, you did. I'm sorry. Like as we bitch about Q Ranger, let's be honest about this. The show was fun to watch.
It definitely left an impression on us.
And it's not necessarily a bad one. It's just a lot of missed opportunities and bad execution for most of our issues with that show. A good chunk of it are fantastic. It's fantastic to watch. It's a fun romp. It's funny, it's serious, and it's great for jokes, which that's right up my alley for a podcast. And but like there's not much to there's not much of that for this episode. It's like, yeah, we get the Senna, you're an idiot, and learn to teach your monsters, at least, make sure they graduated from the Prometheus school of running away from things. That's about it. Also, start warning people when you're driving through your damn train. It's like everything about this episode is like, it's very subpar in the fact of from start to finish, you could literally skip this episode, nothing changes. What you learn is her motivation for how she is the way she is. That's it. And at the moment, I don't see a need for that.
So
Let her be the badass, and just that's fine. You don't have to explain somebody being a badass. Just show us them being a badass.
honestly, a flashback would have sufficed. So next week's episode is also shaping up to be a weird one. However, the writer for next week's episode is Riku Sanjo. You might recognize his work, such as Kamen Rider Double, Kamen Rider Drive, Juden Sentai Kyuryuger. He was
So good
also
stuff.
he was also the secondary writer for Forze.
Okay, and given the fact that Forza wasn't terrible by any means.
And like, say what you will about Kyuryuger, that was a fun series to watch.
Oh, it was. And honestly, it had my favorite thing ever.
Which
Why are we dancing? Just roll with it.
Why are we dancing? Because.
It's also why I like to begin those. What was that? Don't worry about it. Like, I love those type of jokes of things happening and not being explained, like little dumb things like that. I love it, and it makes for a great joke. It's like, but yeah, Kyu Ryuger was fun.
So, I think that, so while next week's episode looks like it's gonna be a weird one, I think it'll be a fine episode. I think it'll be a fun one to watch because this is a writer who knows what he's doing.
And it's the whole purpose from the trailer that we got, aside from the Island of Misfit Toys monsters, is literally let's train Juru because he's Juru. He's the newest member to this, and he's still in high school. Let's train.
Yeah, I wonder if they're ever gonna bring that bit up again about how he's still in high school.
On a side note, I also have two questions because that one of which we covered when we watched it. When did they ever explain that there were Kirame stones in the changers? I mean, it makes sense. Don't get me wrong, it makes sense.
I don't know.
But all we knew of was the one she came in and the vehicles.
Like,
I'm not
might explain
sure
it in episode 0.
I don't remember if they did.
I don't either.
All I remember, it was just them going around and finding. I'll have to go back and check right before they did their transformation. That may have been
if they were
then.
actually Kirame stones, then they should have been able. Mabushi should have been able to detect them, right?
Well, that's what she says. Like, they're too small for her to pinpoint if they're far away. Or concealed in any type of manner like this. They were concealed inside, basically, lack of a better term, in another dimension of inside the monster, so she couldn't find them.
So,
she'd have been able to do so if they'd eaten a vehicle. But that one particular stone, she could pinpoint wherever it is at any point in time, no matter what.
So the implication is that, because the Kirame stones have been used in the past, and this company already was on good relations with the king. Uh, he just kind of made the changes himself with his Kira mental, and then gave them to the guy on Earth, saying, "Hey,
You're
just
gonna
in
need these.
case, just in case." And then that happened.
Yeah, just in case my brother's an asshole. And the other thing of when are they going to explain to us what all the suits can do? Because didn't know we were unaware that he had zoom in and hand.
Oh yeah, I already forgot about that because that was weird.
It's like, and don't get me wrong, this isn't the first Sentai to just throw random, gobbledygook power ups into their suits for whatever reason, and just explain it away of, oh well, it's something the suit can do. It was just weirdly focused on, almost as weirdly focused as the Power Rangers helmets having new powers when movie. I don't remember, saber-tooth tigers being able to have headlights. Sorry, I'm the original movie, not that terrible remake. I've realized that was an odd comment to make.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, but I kind of want to go watch that movie now.
Thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow for more Kamen Rider 01.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow.